Welcome to the Business Plus Accounting video training series. In this episode, we'll look at the General Ledger module. The General Ledger module can be accessed from the General Ledger button on the main menu. In the General Ledger module, we have the ability to make and post journal entries, manual journal entries, as well as print several of your financial reports. We also have the ability to print some change in financial conditions reports. So we have the ability to do General Ledger account budgeting. Many of your tax reports are printed from here. We can change our current accounting period from here and do some other reporting things. Let's look first at the process of manual journal entries. When we select Enter Journal Entries, we come up to the Journal Entries screen. From here we can see and modify or create new entries, but we can see all of the entries that have been put on the system that have not been posted yet for journal entries. If there are more than one, we could use the navigation keys to move through them, or use the Pick button to select a record to look at. Since we don't have any, let's go ahead and add a transaction. You'll see that the General Ledger journal entry transaction number is an auto-incrementing number. We have a transaction type that you can put whatever information you want into to indicate what type of transaction it is, as well as an entry date. In these fields, as we enter the specific line items, you'll see the debit total, the credit total, and the difference to help us create a journal entry that balances. The software does force you to have two-sided balancing entries, so let's go enter some line items on this. In the GL account field, we have access to the pick list to allow us to pick an account. Let's pick a cost of goods or a revenue account, for example, other revenue. Here we see whether it's a credit account or a debit account, so that we'll know if it should be debited or credited as we try to make our transactions balance. We'll debit this account $50. For the next entry, let's select a cost of goods account. Again, we'll pick just the other expenses account. You can see this is a debit account. So we'll credit that one. Now you can see that we have matching debit and credit totals. When the transaction is finished and we're ready to move on, we can save the transaction. Now, since this is the only transaction, we can't look at anything else, but we can go in and modify this transaction if we wanted to add another set of entries against inventory, and perhaps moving that into our auto account. Again, we can save that. Now, if we want to make more credit or journal entries at this point in time, we can use the Add button to create another entry. We can use the F3 button to save that entry, and you can see that as we navigate through, we can see all of the records, all of the entries that we've put in. If we needed to delete one of these entries, using the Delete button would allow us to delete that journal entry. Now, those entries have been entered on the system as a journal entry to make, but they have not yet been posted to the General Ledger in actuality. The next step would be to print an edit list so that we can see which entries we have waiting to be posted. So you can see here the total of the credit accounts, the debit accounts, with the transaction numbers. Here's one transaction, here's the other transaction, and that shows us what's going to post when we actually select Post Journal Entries. Now, when we select to post, again we're presented with a posting date option, which allows us to specify the date that we want this item to post under. So we'll go ahead and let that post to today and print a posting report. You'll see that posting report looks just like the pre-invoice posting report or the pre-posting report, showing you the specific transactions so that you have a hard copy of that.